Believe in yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with this truth. You are more powerful than you think and more capable than you've ever dared to believe. You were not born to blend in. You were not designed to live in fear, doubt, or hesitation. Inside you, yes, there's a fire. A fire that's been smothered too many times by other people's opinions, by failure, by fear, or by the lie that you're not enough. But let me tell you something today. You are enough. You see, belief isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea reserved for dreamers. Belief is the engine. It's the difference between those who try and those who triumph. It's the quiet whisper that says, keep going, when everything in your life screams, give up. The world will doubt you. It will try to fit you into a box, label you, judge you, and tell you who you're supposed to be. But here's the thing. They don't get to decide your story. You do. Every great success you've ever seen started with someone who simply believed. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't always have the talent, the support, or the money, but they had belief. Belief that they could grow. Belief that they could overcome. Belief that failure wasn't the end, but just another lesson. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. You will fall, that's guaranteed. But belief is what helps you rise, not just once, but every single time. And the more you rise, the stronger you become. The more you believe, the more you begin to see what you're really made of. So I ask you now, what dream are you sitting on? What goal have you buried under fear? What version of yourself have you locked away because the world told you you weren't ready? This is your moment. Stand up, speak out, push forward, and no matter who tells you you can't, prove them wrong by believing that you can. Because the truth is, no one else can give you belief. No one else can live your purpose, walk your path, or chase your vision. Only you can. So from this day forward, I dare you, believe in yourself like your life depends on it. Because in so many ways, it does. Now, I'm not tell you more. Society has a way of putting people in boxes. From the moment you begin to dream, there are voices ready to tell you it's too big, too risky, or simply unrealistic. These voices often come from those who have given up on their own dreams, or worse, never dared to chase them at all. They will question your abilities, challenge your vision, and offer limitations disguised as advice. It's subtle at first. Comments like, be realistic, or maybe try something safer. Over time, if you're not careful, these words can echo louder than your own inner voice. The real danger doesn't come from the world doubting you. It comes when you start doubting yourself, when their skepticism becomes your script. That's how dreams die, not with a loud crash, but with a quiet surrender. You start hesitating, you hold back, you stop raising your hands, stop applying, stop trying. Doubt creeps in like a shadow, convincing you that you're not qualified, not ready, or not good enough. But here's the truth, no one else has the right to write your story. You must be the one to guard your belief fiercely and unapologetically. Because once self-doubt takes root, it doesn't just block your path, it blinds you to it. That's why belief is not just a nice idea, it's your armor. When you truly know your worth, you stop seeking validation from those who can't see your vision. You stop apologizing for dreaming differently, thinking bigger, or moving faster. And when that belief is solid, you start seeing the obstacles not as stop signs, but as stepping stones. This leads you directly into the next truth. Belief is stronger than your circumstances. It becomes the force that carries you through the chaos, the uncertainty, and the moments when everything seems stacked against you. Belief, when owned fully, turns impossibility into progress. Society has a subtle yet powerful way of making you question yourself. It starts with comparisons, someone telling you what you should be doing, what's normal, or what's realistic. Slowly, those voices build a narrative around you that says, you can't, you're not ready, or you're not enough. Whether it's teachers, family, peers, or even strangers, the world tends to place limits on people based on its own fears, not your potential. And while it's easy to point fingers outward, the most dangerous moment isn't when others doubt you. It's when you begin to internalize that doubt, when their words become your beliefs. That's when the real battle begins, not between you and the world, but between you and the voice in your head. That voice can be persistent. It can remind you of every mistake, every failure, and every time you felt like you weren't good enough. It will replay criticism louder than praise and keep you stuck in hesitation. But you have a choice to either feed that voice or silence it. Protecting your belief in yourself is not arrogance, it's survival. Because self-belief is not about pretending you're perfect. It's about knowing you're capable of growth, strength, and success, even when no one else sees it yet. When you stand firm in that belief, you reclaim control over your path. You stop shrinking to fit expectations and start expanding to meet your purpose. And this belief doesn't just help you push past judgment. It gives you power over your circumstances. When everything around you seems uncertain, when the odds feel stacked against you, belief becomes the one thing no one can take away. You begin to realize that you don't need a perfect plan or a flawless record. You need the courage to trust your potential and the will to keep moving forward. That's what leads us into the next truth. Belief is stronger than circumstances. Because once you stop letting outside noise shake your inner confidence, you're ready to face anything the world throws at you and rise anyway. We've been taught to wait for the right time, the right resources, the right circumstances. We tell ourselves once things calm down, once I have more money, once I feel ready. But the truth is, perfect conditions don't exist. Life will always present challenges, financial setbacks, unexpected losses, rejection, or moments when nothing seems to go your way. If you wait for everything to align before you take a step, you'll stand still forever. The people who rise, the ones who succeed, aren't those with the easiest path. They're the ones who move anyway, because they believe in their ability to figure it out as they go. Belief is what keeps you going when logic tells you to quit. It's what makes you push through doors that seem locked, speak when your voice shakes, and stand tall when everything else is falling apart. Circumstances might test you. They might slow you down. But belief makes you resourceful. It fuels resilience. When things get hard, and they will, it's not your environment that will carry you through. It's your mindset. Belief is what turns obstacles into opportunities and pressure into power. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to rise in spite of it. Because deep inside you know, storms don't last, and strength is born in the middle of them. And here's the thing. When you've learned to rise above circumstances, you start seeing failure differently. It no longer feels like the end. It feels like a pivot, a lesson, a redirection towards something greater. Because when belief is strong enough, failure becomes fuel. You stop fearing the fall and start embracing it as part of the climb. And that's the next step in your journey, understanding that failure isn't final. It's fuel. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who avoid falling. They're the ones who keep rising, stronger every time. Failure. It's a word most people fear, a feeling most people run from. We've been taught to associate it with shame, with weakness, with defeat. But the truth is, failure is part of the process. It's not a detour from the path. It is the path. Every fall, every misstep, every disappointment is a signal. Not that you should quit, but that you're in the game, that you're pushing, learning, growing. The ones who never fail are the ones who never try. But those who dare, those who take risks and stumble, are the ones who gain the most: experience, resilience, and clarity. Each failure holds a lesson that success alone could never teach. Belief doesn't erase the sting of failure, but it transforms it. When belief is rooted deep within you, failure doesn't break you. It builds you. It sharpens your focus. It forces you to find new strategies, dig deeper, and come back smarter and stronger. With belief as your foundation, you don't see failure as something to avoid. You see it as something to use. The setback becomes fuel for the comeback. Every time you rise after falling, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you were the last time. And the more you rise, the less power failure has over you. You begin to expect challenges, not as enemies, but as necessary parts of becoming everything you're meant to be. And that mindset, the willingness to rise again and again, leads to action. Because belief and resilience are meaningless if they aren't applied. At some point, you have to stop thinking, stop analyzing, and start moving. The fuel you've gained from failure, the strength you've gathered from belief, it's meant to drive you forward. And this brings us to the most critical shift of all. It's time to take action. Now, you've prepared, you've struggled, you've learned. Now the only thing left to do is step up and become the person you were always capable of being. There comes a point when planning, dreaming, and even believing must give way to doing. You've built the mindset, you've endured the failures, you've discovered strength in uncertainty, but belief without action, that's just potential left unused. It's the engine with no ignition. You can have all the talent in the world, all the dreams in your heart, and all the lessons from your past, but none of it matters if you don't move. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. It's where transformation begins, where belief becomes visible, and where your impact is felt. Action doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. Speak up, even if your voice trembles. Take the first step, even if your knees shake. Start messy, start afraid, start now. Because momentum builds confidence, not the other way around. You can revise your path as you go, but you can't steer a parked car. Too many people wait for the right mood, the right timing, the right sign. But success belongs to those who move forward, even when everything inside them says, wait. The people who take action are the ones who learn the fastest, grow the strongest, and rise the highest. And in that action, belief is no longer just an idea, it becomes evidence. And what's more powerful than taking action for yourself? Inspiring others to do the same. When you step forward, you don't just break barriers for you, you open doors for someone else watching, someone who needed proof that it's possible. And this is where your journey expands beyond self-belief. It becomes a movement, a ripple, a signal to the world that ordinary people can do extraordinary things, not because they had it easy, but because they chose to rise, to act, and to believe. So let today mark not the end of your awakening, but the beginning of your becoming. You've got everything you need. Now go create the life that was always waiting for you to show up.